Good morning, everyone. Hi, I'm Rebecca Heck. I'm here with Omari. We're here to do a Fitness Over 30 podcast for you. It's December 7th. I hope everyone's having a great day. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Rebecca. How you doing?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much.
So exercise is menopause. That's an interesting topic. So I think you may have a little experience with this one.
I do have experience with this one as I have gone through this one.
Well, I think this is going to be very beneficial to a lot of listeners. So I hope you guys get your pens and pencils out, take a few notes. Rebecca's got a lot to offer here.
Yes, let's get started. So first of all that just feeling like everything is changing all at once is very stressful. So just in that aspect, exercise is a great choice to use to calm all that down, because we're going through hot flashes and night sweats and confusion and forgetfulness. So that physical activity, it makes us feel strong, like we have a bit more control over what's going on with us, and helps us reduce that stress. And yes, it really does work.
That's right. And to add to what you just said, I looked up a little something like the Mayo Clinic, and it was fitness tips for menopause. Yeah. Okay, so they were saying the exact same thing. They were saying that exercise is not necessarily proven to offset menopause, but they were saying that it does help relieve stress, helps with weight loss, helps you to have sanity.
Yes, sanity, that's really in your head. If you can keep that together, that's right. A big plus.
And being a man, ladies, obviously I don't have a lot of input other than the fact that I have trained a lot of women during this time period. So from my perspective, I think for ladies, when you go into that period, especially if you're working with a trainer, make sure you let them know.
Yes.
That will help. Because, if we don't know, I always have to have women when I first sign them up, even if they're cycling, if they're going through that monthly time, I think we spoke about this a little bit before on the last one. But you have to be able to let that person feel comfortable enough with your person to let them know, because that'll help them. They may be able to help do some research and do some plans that'll help maybe with the flow of things. So.
Yeah, don't be shy or embarrassed about it. It's part of life that we go through during some periods of time every month, and then this section of time can last years.
Now, how long can it last?
It can last an entire decade from beginning to end. And we're dealing with perimenopause, postmenopausal, menopause in and of itself. So you're dealing with the before, the during, the after. It's a big change, and it can last over a string of years.
I've even heard instances where women have thought they were done and then displayed symptoms of it later on, after maybe they did it for 6 years maybe, and then they thought they were done and then some symptoms came back. Is that uncommon?
It's not totally uncommon. It isn't. Environmental situations can come up, and just your body sometimes at some point just needs to shed, or things just come back. I know it's just a big, lovely little mystery. I wish I had a clear-cut answer.
Right.
You just kind of have to go with it.
We want more of your experience anyway. So.
Yeah, you want to take good care of yourself. That really, really helps, and the exercise really helps. And the weight gain, of course, always exercise helps with that. As far as our eating and how we're working out. But as we get older and we go through this process, we can lose some of our muscles. So, we don't want to be losing our muscle tone. So you do want to make sure that you're not just exercising, but you're strength training.
Using some weights.
Yes, exactly.
Resistance bands.
Resistance bands, if you don't want to pick up a dumbbell because you're worried about getting too buff, don't be afraid to do that. Muscle tone that you have in building some muscle really helps to burn off more calories than we take in during the day, and it has a great afterburn effect. So that is extremely helpful during this time, as in all times, for that purpose.
Yeah, I think, for the main thing that I see for the benefits of women that I've seen go through it and they continue to exercise is that thing that like the peace of mind. I think, because you're working towards a goal even, you're already trying to offset what's happening.
Oh, right, exactly. And it can make us feel really out of sorts. And the stronger we are in our bodies, the stronger it helps us feel in our mind. So that is extremely helpful on that level.
I could definitely see that. I can definitely see how if you don't feel good about yourself and you're already feeling bad inside, that could just be a nightmare.
It is. It can take in a very emotional toll. All of a sudden, we're real upset over things that don't really upset us anymore. And working out has helped me a lot keep that center, to be able to say to myself, okay, this isn't that anything is any worse than it usually is. It's just bothering me more because of what's going on with me, and being strong in my body helps me be strong in my mind to help control that. It really does help.
So when you first started, were you already heavy into your exercise routine?
I was. I mean, I grew up as a gymnast. I had always worked out, and then I worked in a gym teaching lots of classes as I got older in my 20s, and so that was, working out was always a thing with me. I could tell that I wasn't feeling the same as I had as I was getting older, that, you know, things were just changing, and then, of course, my cycle was stopping, and it stopped for years, and like you said, then started back up again a little bit, and then went away again, and is now gone, as far as I believe, has completely stopped.
Okay.
Point. I'm sorry, go back to your initial question. I got caught up in that line of thinking, and I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no, I was just asking about, and I'm my train of thought too. I was asking you about how do you feel, like, were you exercising at the time when you came on to menopause, and how do you feel with exercise?
It became, I'm not, no lie, it did become harder. Felt like I was having an internal struggle with myself. Like, my mind wanted to work out and do it, and my body was, like, exhausted, because it's very draining when you start going through this process and your body's changing so much. And you really do, I mean, the phrase power through really, you know, came to light at that point. Like, and then once you start and you get going, like, just get yourself to the gym, or if you have something at home that you can work out with, just start. Once I would get 10 minutes in, I was all good. It was just a matter of starting. So just fight against that, get yourself started, and once you're 10 minutes in, you're going to be fine. You're going to be glad. And when you're done, you're going to feel so good. Remember that feeling. Then when the time comes over you again where your body is trying to just keep you from doing it, remember how great you felt when you were done the last time, and get going again.
That's such good advice. Because I know when I'm depressed, just in general in life, and so I'm trying to get myself motivated, it's tough. Those first, 5 or 10 minutes of the workout is really that's the determining factor. Because if I get past those 10 minutes, like you said, I start to feel better.
Yeah.
But it's so psychological.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like when you tell somebody to stretch this muscle until they're in pain, but that pain is going to make them feel better.
Correct.
Right.
The roller comes to mind.
That's right. A little bit.
A little bit.
When you did you do any changes to your diet during the menopausal stage?
I did, because as you do get older, the same thing doesn't work. And this isn't anything new that we don't kind of know in our own head, but yet we keep doing the same thing because that's what we do. We're creatures of habit. So we really have to take a good hard look at what we're doing with our food. Okay, so my first suggestion is to keep a journal. And if you're not a pen to paper person, you know what? You've got your phone, notes, you don't have to write anything down. You can hit the little microphone and just say it. It could be easier these days to keep track of things. Plus, there's all kinds of food trackers out there to help you keep track of all. Start really being honest with yourself about everything you're putting in your mouth. I put all of my clients into a food journal, however they want to write it. If they want to scribble on a piece of paper and give it to me, if they want to send it via email, I don't care. But don't lie to me, because I can't help. Don't tell me what you think I want to hear. What I want to hear is what is really going on with you, because the more I know, the more honest you are with me. And if you're 100% honest with me, then I can super help you, okay? Because we don't realize all the little things that are adding up to our day, and we start to justify, oh, that didn't really count, or I'll just burn that off. It doesn't really work that way. We've talked about that before. Once you get a grasp and an understanding, if you're having an addiction to sugar, or if you're eating out of emotional reasons, or if you're just eating for any other reason besides being hungry, not really paying attention to how much time you're putting in between meals and how much water you're drinking, if you're just not focused on it because you're so focused on other things, and I get it, we're all super busy, but this is really important, because if we don't take care of ourselves, I got to be honest, we're just not going to be around to do any of this other stuff. That really has to come first.
Health is everything.
It is. I mean, we learn when we get on an airplane, what do they tell you? If we go too high and that air mask drops, what are you supposed to do? Let's put it on yourself first before you help somebody else. Same thing applies here. Take care of you first so you can take care of others and whatever else you need to take care of afterwards. But it has to work in that order or it does not work.
I've seen, here recently it seems I've seen a lot more women taking the time for themselves, especially during that time period. I think the way I see it is almost as if they're fed up.
Yes.
And they just need to do something for themselves because most of those women they've had families and the families have probably moved on or getting ready to move on. And so now it's that, the single, the nester. So,
the empty nesters.
Yeah, empty nesters. And so, I see a lot of women coming in and taking care of themselves and doing exercise and just movement, which is so good for them. I mean, I can tell the difference from the day they come in to about a 30-day period later when they are in the flow of the exercise and their body is starting to adjust to it. And I just see a lot more positive change. And I know from personal experience, I lived with my mom during her menopause, and she did not exercise, and it was really challenging, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, and as you get older, if you haven't been taking care of yourself, it's really hard on your bones. Exercise during this time can help keep your bones strong, to keep you from getting osteoporosis or falling and having fractures and things of this nature. So it's not just an aesthetic issue.
No, it's
we're dealing with the inside of your body. It helps keep your blood pressure under control. It helps keep your bones strong. There's a lot going on exercise outside of aesthetics.
I mean, it's so important for people to understand that, especially women in menopause, that if you, like Rebecca said, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're just allowing this time period to pass by you, you are losing some of the most vital years of your life as far as trying to be functional in your senior years. Because I don't think menopause is your senior years, ladies.
No, I mean, we feel so much change that, okay, frankly, it just makes you feel kind of old, right?
And like
that part of my life is over. You got decades to go on here. Right. Don't be giving up. Never give up or give in. This is a time where if you are becoming an empty nester, look at all the time you've got on your hands. Go back over that to-do list of things that you didn't do and start tackling that. You're only as old or young as you feel, okay? So get a hold of the things that you wanted to do and start going through that list. Okay, this is not the time to be giving up. This is the time to be really focusing back in on yourself and being the best self that you can be and setting a really good example. You've got kids, you've got daughters. Show them, look, hey, mama goes on, right?
That's right.
Mama stays strong, and I'm going to keep taking care of me. And that leaves an example, okay, for my daughter that, look, you keep working on you. And don't be giving up at any point in your life. And I want to show my daughter, too, look, I'm going to keep going on. When you get to this stage in your life, I expect you to keep going on. Keep being your very best and keep setting goals and reaching towards them and surpassing them just like you have your entire life. This is no reason to change that. Really not.
I know you're a great example because I remember the day when you brought your daughter and your sister and your niece all into one workout.
Yeah.
So that was very cool to see all of you guys, the
generations.
Yeah, the generations. Because, a lot of times I think people look at it like, I can't keep up with my daughter, or I can't keep up, like if your mom is Rebecca, maybe her daughter feels you can't keep up with her. But regardless of that, it's not about that. It's about supporting each other and getting out here and doing what's going to make you feel good about you. Because if you don't feel good about you now, give yourself a solid year of moving, exercising, strength training, drinking water, eating right. I guarantee you this time next year, you will be thanking us that you got started.
Oh, yeah. If you start now, you'll definitely be thankful next year. That is a great way to look at it. And that's a great other reason to be journaling. Go back in that journal and see how much it's changed and the changes that you've made over that year and how much better you feel.
And for anybody who is struggling with the menopause, I would strongly encourage maybe getting into a kickboxing class, maybe something that'll let some of that aggression out, because I'm sure your husband or whatever man in your life will gladly pay for that class for you, because I surely will when my wife gets to be that age. I also know a little bit about hormone replacement. Do you believe in that at all?
That's a very individual thing and a very interesting question. For me, it didn't work very well for me. Although I do know that there are some people that swear by it, and I think in those particular cases you have to go by an individual basis and the right person. It was for me, but we've talked about some of the things that I went through in my past with my anorexia and then, the gymnastics and some of the things that really tore down my body. And perhaps, I don't know, I'm really just speaking on my own individual basis. It was not a great experience for me through that.
I understand.
It was too much of a change. My body absorbs things in such a way that it just took it too sky high, dropped it too fast. I'm still kind of dealing with the after effects of everything that went on with it, and that was months and months ago. I did feel stronger from it, I'll give you that. It did help me put on some more muscle, I can give you that. But as far as the way that I felt, it was too overwhelming for my body.
I can understand. I do hormones, so I can relate to you a little bit there. And I'll say this, if you guys do go that route, one thing I'll leave you with is make sure it's organic.
Yeah.
Do not go the synthetic route. So
I totally
double check your doctor and make sure he is using an organic product, because if he is not, it's putting you at a greater risk for your health. And we're trying to help balance you out, which also can help with health benefits as well. But you don't want to put yourself at risk when you don't have to.
Right. Find the best way of doing it. Find the best doctor and find the best product to deal with yourself. And take it slow. Just go through one aspect of it. It takes, I don't know if we're on the same page here. Mine was about 3 months. Okay.
Yeah, and cellular activity takes about that long.
It takes about that long. So when you're dealing with that 3-month period, be real patient with yourself. Look, if it doesn't work for you and it's not your thing, it's totally fine.
Right.
There's lots of other options out there. If it does, great. It's just one of those options out there to help you deal with. And it's never a bad idea to get your blood tested and see where your hormone levels are sitting. Because it can answer a lot of questions about what's going on with your body. And then you are informed. You can take that information and you can go from there into the other aspects and avenues that you can deal with it.
Hey, well, thank you for opening up and sharing today. I know some of this has been a little personal. And
it's totally fine. I don't mind sharing.
Well, that's why we have you on the team. We want to make sure that the public gets a great benefit. I'm Omari, and I was joined by Rebecca today. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good evening.
Yes, good evening.
Take care.